Happy Travel Tuesday, the May edition, Brian. I'm so excited to talk Alaska and more.
There is so much going on. Spring is in the air, summer's right around the corner, and a lot of people are traveling.
That's for sure. So we got a little bit of a taste of warm weather. We know more is on the way. And we're wrapping up the month with Memorial Day. That's the unofficial kickoff to the road trip season where people take that good old-fashioned road trip.
They do. They plan for summer and get on the road and enjoy the U.S.
And if you haven't planned yet, now is the time to do so. Spring, summer, fall vacations. There's going to be limited availability going forward.
You know, it's amazing the people that have pre-planned for this summer, but we still have space. I mean, flexibility really is the word. So if what you want is not available or the price is a little high, flexibility on dates is great, but we are seeing people traveling all over the world. Europe is so popular. River cruising is absolutely unbelievable. One of my favorite destinations, Alaska, we're going to be talking about a little bit later.
So these are big trips, bucket list destinations. We're seeing people take splurge-worthy vacations, so upgrades to balconies, suites, experiences, spa treatments, whatever it might be. People are going big this year.
They really are. And, you know, when we have members calling and saying, I want a suite or I want a penthouse, they're full. People are really booking and want that experience, and they are splurging. What did you call it?
Splurge-worthy.
There we go. Absolutely. They are doing that.
Yeah, sign me up for one of those. AAA is always available to make those splurge-worthy or any road trip, whatever it might be, vacation available to you. But the number one thing we're thinking about these days is protecting that investment with this travel insurance.
We always want to protect the members' investments. You know, everyone works hard. Trips are expensive, and travel insurance is really, really important. We don't like to see any trip depart without travel insurance.
Well, we actually just won an award from Allianz for our travel insurance because we help so many people protect these investments. But what people don't realize, like, oh, I'm definitely going on the trip, so I don't need travel insurance. But that's not the case. It's so much more than that.
It really is. Back in the day, people used to think, I may cancel my trip, so I want some insurance if I have to cancel before the trip. That's actually minimal. It's really during the trip that is so important. If you're in Europe or you're in the islands and something, God forbid, something happens, maybe a heart attack or you fall and break a leg. You know, we've had people that have been medevac back to the United States with a medical airlift, a nurse on board is covered by insurance. So really, really important. People think, I'll be okay. It really is not the case. And that insurance, that protection, when you buy a policy, there's an app on your phone. The company knows where you're traveling, where you're at. So the minute something happens, it's just a click of a button and they're there helping you through that process.
And we don't want to be dramatic, but really life happens. You could be the healthiest person. You're going to be talking about Alaska coming up with Matt. People are out on a hike, you twist your ankle, next thing you know, you need medical treatment.
Absolutely. So that's one of the key things, but so many people don't realize that there's baggage protection, there is trip delay. If you're on a cruise and you miss a port, there's compensation for that as well. And so, you know, if you're at a connection, say in Atlanta, and your flight is delayed and you're sitting in Atlanta for 4 or 5 hours, you get compensation for that delay. Even though your trip is going and you're going to continue on, you get up to $200 per person for that time spent on the delay. So lost baggage, delayed baggage, if you're leaving and you miss the departure for your trip, all that compensation is part of insurance.
And we, of course, know that there have been issues over the years with airlines and connections and, canceled flights, whatever it might be. So it's good to know that you have this peace of mind.
It's peace of mind from start to finish, and they are there for you whenever you need it.
Okay, that's great. So we usually use Allianz, and this is something that you're going to want to talk to your travel agent about because your travel advisor, they understand what policy is best for you because there are different levels and there are different things that might come into play as far as setting this up.
There are different policies, and depending on the nature of the trip, if it's domestic, if it's just an airline ticket, there's minimal cost to insurance. Insurance for a large trip, if it's Europe or a cruise, it is actually based on the cost of the trip and the age of the passenger. So it isn't a one-size-fits-all, and there's policies, but our advisors know all the details on those policies to make sure that you have the policy that fits your needs.
Okay. Another example of why you're going to want to work with the experts.
Absolutely.
Okay. So coming up, you are going to talk to Matthew about Alaska. I know it's one of your favorite places.
It is one of my favorite destinations. It was wonderful. I really want to go back.
Well, it's on my bucket list, so I can't wait to hear more about that from the two of you. But first, it's time for our hot trips. Here comes the sun. spring travel sale at AAA is going on now. We have great offers from our top vendors like Royal Caribbean, Viking River Cruises, Rocky Mountaineer, and more to destinations around the globe. For example, on the waterways, summer triple savings with complimentary land packages up to $2,000 off per stateroom. Now is the best time to plan your summer 2024 European River Cruise vacation with incredible savings and upgrades. The offer is valid through June 30th. Insight Vacations, Brendan Vacations, and Trafalgar. Seasonal travel sale with savings up to $3,600 per couple on 2024 bookings. It's time to seize the moment and unlock your next unforgettable adventure with an amazing personal tour. The offer is valid through May 30th. Royal Caribbean. Break free from the ordinary and embrace the extraordinary with epic deals on unforgettable escapes with Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. For a limited time, buy one, get the second guest 60% off and 30% off your third and fourth guests. Plus, kids sail free. The offer is valid through May 31st.
We're back, and welcome. We have Matt Covert here, is one of our branch managers from Orchard Park. Welcome, Matt, to the program.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about your role at AAA.
Currently I'm the AAA branch manager of the Orchard Park office. I've been with AAA for about 10 years now, approaching 10 years, so feels like forever. Absolutely love it, though. Started off at the lowest level here in travel. Worked my way up and now heading one of my offices.
Well, I can't let you get away with the lowest level in travel because before you joined us, you were with AAA in the Carolinas.
Correct.
And you were one of their top salespeople. So you are not at a low level at all. So esteemed career in travel, but we're delighted to have you here at AAA.
Thank you.
So we're going to talk a little bit about Alaska. Alaska is a really popular destination. So in the eyes of our members and travelers, what do you think that makes Alaska so special?
Alaska is that hidden gem, the gem that nobody ever thinks about. There's so much to see and a lot to do there, but my favorite is just the natural beauty. The things that you see that you don't get to see on a regular basis. So absolutely love the destination.
It's a bucket list trip for many.
100%.
Absolutely. 100%. So you've been to Alaska.
I have.
And you did a cruise.
I did.
I've been to Alaska and did a cruise tour. Mm-hmm. So we can debate a little bit about that in the pros and cons of both. But when you think of an Alaska cruise or a cruise tour, what are the highlights that really come to mind?
The destination. There's, like I said, there's so much to see, whether you do the land or just the cruise portion. On the cruise portion, you do go to just many ports, Juneau, the capital city, but a lot of people don't know it's actually the smallest city of Alaska.
Yes, you're right, yeah.
Which, you don't think about that. Skagway being another destination right there on the border of the U.S. and Canada. Sitka. Sitka is a very historical port as well. But then working your way down into Ketchikan. Ketchikan, this nice little fishing port. There's a lot going on down there too, before coming back down towards your Victoria, Vancouver area, or if you're cruising back down into Seattle.
So typically a 7-day cruise,
Mm-hmm.
they leave from Seattle or Vancouver.
Correct.
And they go north or southbound.
Mm-hmm.
But as you mentioned, these little tiny towns in Alaska are absolutely just not only so full of history, but so entertaining as well.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about some of the things that you can do in these ports.
A lot of people don't think. One of the, Alaska's known for lumberjacks, big burly lumberjacks. There's actually a lumberjack show in Ketchikan,
Yes.
which is a pretty comical adventure.
It is.
So if you get the chance to do it, we highly recommend that you do that. It's about 35, 45 minutes, but it's just a comedy show. So who doesn't want to go see the lumberjacks of Alaska? When you're out in Juneau, Mendenhall Glacier, definitely a top for it. I would, if you do Skagway, Skagway is, again, that destination that rides the border. The Scenic White Pass Railroad, one of my favorite excursions to ever do. Ride the White Pass Railroad all the way up into the border. It's almost like the Gold Rush. So a lot of cool things to see. And then if you want to come back down on the train, you can do that. Or you can hike back down, or the favorite, ride the bicycles.
Bicycles, that's the way to do it.
Yep.
Absolutely. And so, on a 7-day cruise in Alaska, naturalists come on board,
Mm-hmm.
and they describe what folks are looking at.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the top features of a 7-day cruise, of course, is kind of visiting Glacier Bay.
Mm-hmm.
So the ships all kind of hang around in Glacier Bay, and you see those glaciers fall into the water. Absolutely breathtaking.
It's incredible. And I tell everybody, Glacier Bay, the day that you don't get off the ship, is my favorite day of the entire trip. It's about a 7-hour journey in. So you go in very slow, get to see all the scenery. You'll see the whales, you'll see dolphins, bald eagles. I've never seen, outside of a video, a bald eagle come by and actually snatch a fish out of the water. But I saw it on the cruise. It was absolutely incredible. Going in all the way into Marjorie Glacier and then just sitting there. It's just this nice, quiet, scene. It's absolutely incredible. And then, just having that glacier calf right there. Sad to see, but pretty cool to see too. It's my favorite destination.
It really is a great spot. And when we were there wasn't a cloud in the sky. Mm-hmm. That beautiful glacier there, the water, it was just absolutely amazing.
It's incredible.
It really is. And so, and I talked a little bit about the naturists getting on board. Mm-hmm. So that's really, whether you're with a Holland America or Princess or any other cruise line, they bring these specialists on board and they really describe during that week what you're seeing, mm-hmm. which really is just so educational, and it kind of puts you right there.
It does, and it's actually kind of cool when you're first starting to get into the Glacier Bay area to see this little boat pull up right next to this massive ship, and then just see somebody hop off. But then just having them narrate the entire journey. Again, it's a 7-hour transit, and they're just narrating everything.
Yeah.
And they're pointing out sights to see throughout the area too, so you don't miss anything.
So we talked about the 7-day cruise, and typically you can add a land portion to it, and we would call that a cruise tour.
Right.
So when I was up there a few years ago, we did a cruise tour, and we did land first, mm-hmm. and started in Fairbanks. And so, you talked about the ports along the Inside Passage, but when you look at land and staying at a lodge at Denali National Park, mm-hmm. amazing,
incredible. And I recommend, if you have the time, add the land excursion to it. There is so much to see, and this does tend to be a once in a lifetime destination. So you want to make sure that you take full advantage.
And so with the land packages, you can do 4 or 5 nights. But cruise tours that take into all of Alaska can actually be as long as 21 days, and really get up into the nature of northern Alaska, and places that some people have never heard. But it's time and budgetary constraints. But if you have the time, it's really worth doing.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So and then in addition to with the land package comes the domed rail cars. Mm-hmm. So I know that you've sold Alaska for all these years, but that domed rail car experience is really special.
Oh, it's worth the price of admission. The sights that you see, again, it's all scenery up there. So just being able to look around, and your standard rail car, you look out the sides, you see everything that's just right out in front of you there. With this glass dome, you're looking at everything. Birds flying over, clouds, mountains. It's just incredible.
It really is incredible. And of course, one day on a land tour, you're on the train for 7 hours. Mm-hmm. So we enjoyed a gourmet lunch as well, as we're just looking at this beautiful scenery. So it really is special. But, one of the other things that people talk about, whether it's land and cruise, are all the optional excursions that you can take. So you talked about the little towns. There's sightseeing, there's tours that people can take in all of these stops along the way.
There are. Going into Denali, you have the natural history tour that'll take you into the parks themselves. You can only go so far on those tours, but you go far enough that you get to see, the true beauty.
Yeah. And, one of the special points of my trip, we did a helicopter excursion, mm-hmm. up on a glacier, and it was this tiny little helicopter. There were 4 of us in, and the pilot, and we flew. The scenery was unbelievable. We landed on a glacier and just kind of hiked on the glacier. It was absolutely spectacular.
See, nobody thinks about that. They look at these glaciers as just, something to look at.
Yes.
But you're actually going out and you can step on top of these glaciers.
Yeah. He went to land and he didn't like where he was landing, so he hovered over, mm-hmm. and found a better spot. Another highlight, of course, Alaska is known for the Iditarod races, mm-hmm. and the dog sleds. So whether you're on a cruise only or a land cruise tour, you can visit the dog sled runs.
Yep. So the Iditarod, big race that everybody knows about. So just going out into those areas, getting to meet the little pups that are growing up to become those, those dogs on those sleds, but also seeing the dogs that are used in the race. But you also get to meet the musher. And he'll kind of give you a history of what they do and how they go and care for those dogs.
It's amazing. I actually held 2 puppies at the dog sled excursion, and I wanted to bring them home. They wouldn't let me.
Yeah, unfortunately, they have somebody that stops you.
They did. They did stop me for sure. But a question that always comes up, I should say: do you cruise northbound or southbound? And if you do a land tour, do you do the land tour first or the cruise first?
My personal preference that I recommend to everybody is doing the land first. Fly into your Fairbanks, go as far as you possibly can, start up there, and then work your way down. The good part is the land tends to be a little more busy than what you would do on your standard cruise. So I tell everybody, do the land, experience everything that you possibly can, and then get on that cruise and kind of relax. You have that naturalist that comes on board the ship to explain things to you while you're cruising. So it's nice just to sit there, relax, and then listen.
We do agree on that then. All right. We'll go with that. Yes, you're absolutely right. And one of the things on the land tour, when you're moving around from hotel to hotel, your luggage is all taken care of. So you don't have to do anything. You arrive in Fairbanks, and every day that you move, your luggage is taken care of, and it really is just a spectacular
it really is.
Vacation.
It's a smooth trip. I know we have people that worry, they have to take multiple bags just because you never know what you're going to need.
I'm an overpacker.
While you're on these trips.
I go to Overpackers Anonymous. I'm an overpacker. But
been there.
Yes.
Been there. So, but it's nice to know that as soon as you land, your cruise line, again, whether it's Holland America, Princess Cruises, will take that bag, the extra bag, and they'll store it for you all the way down to the ship and ensure that it gets on that ship for the continuation of your tour.
So one of the things that people think about as well is, oh my God, Alaska. It's going to be cold all the time. We have snow here in Western New York. Alaska season really runs from mid-May to mid-September. But when you're up there in the middle of the summer, I was there in August. I'm not sure when you were there.
I actually went opening Alaska season, so right in May.
But the weather was beautiful.
Oh, it was incredible.
Absolutely.
Incredible.
Yes.
And, I was anticipating very cold. During the day, we were low 70s, which I think that's pretty comfortable. Being in Buffalo, I'll take anything over 32. So it was nice. At nighttime, it did get a little bit chilly. But they provided everything that you needed to make sure that you were comfortable throughout.
Absolutely. And I was there in August. It was absolutely gorgeous. So when people think of Alaska, they don't need to think of shivering and cold.
Right.
And even the pool on the ships were open. People were swimming, enjoying the sunshine. So
and another thing that people don't think about, Ketchikan is rated in the top 10 for snorkeling.
So Matt, we talked about Alaska. My bags are packed. I'm sure yours are as well. But walk us through the process and really the importance of working with a travel advisor, especially a AAA travel advisor, on what it looks like in planning that Alaska vacation.
Definitely. So one, it's very easy. We're there with you every step of the way, from the time you first walk into one of our branches to the time that you walk back into your front door after that trip. Very simple. We recommend that you schedule an appointment either by phone or AAA.com. Again, very easy to do so. We have those advisors, which most of our advisors in our branches have been in destination. So you get that firsthand experience instead of, having to go out and try to figure it out on your own. We're there to guide you through that process. Of course, with the booking portion, do come member benefits as well with AAA that you don't get if you go somewhere else, whether it be onboard credits, any extra meals while you're on certain land tours. So there's a lot of different options there for you.
So the benefits of working with an agency are immeasurable. With those benefits also come along the experience of these advisors when you said they've been in destination. So, you mentioned some of the excursions that you were on. So it is these secrets of Alaska that they can share with our members.
Right. It's that face-to-face personal interaction, and you're getting those personal recommendations from our advisors.
And when doing a cruise tour or a cruise package, everything's taken care of, from airfare to transfers to, pretty much everything from beginning to end.
Yep. And again, one of those benefits is even while you're out on tour, should you need something, of course you do have your director that's with you, whether it be on the cruise or the land portion. But your advisor is just one phone call away.
And we do have as well availability for 24-hour service. If when you are up in Alaska, we like to think everything goes seamless, but sometimes things happen. But we do have people that can assist in situations that arise.
We do, and it's not you having to call and talk to a robot the entire time. You'll actually have a real human with AAA in our area that's there to assist you.
Well, I'm ready to go. I know you want to go back as well.
100%.
So that's great. Thank you, Matthew, for sharing your experiences. And really, we are so excited to have our travelers really come to AAA and understand what there is for Alaska, but really more important, to walk you through that process from start to finish to make sure your vacation is seamless. And again, AAA.com/Travel Tuesday has all the details for not only Alaska, but all the destinations that we talk about on our program. Thanks for joining us.